Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
This episode's gonna be as big as Zereth Mortis is, and let me tell you, it's pretty fucking big. I'm Slidewhistle.
I am Immunization. New patch, new mic, baby.
Every time you get interested in a topic, you're gonna listen to 40 minutes only to find that topic has just been defeated. Just like every boss I try to fight in Zereth Mortis, I'm Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire, and Horde Punching Bag.
Okay, let's start off right off the bat. We have read a lot of the stuff on the show. Do you feel like the things that we've read about the zone on the show are what you saw when you walked into that zone?
Okay, so I will say, it's kind of funny that, like, when I was first experiencing it for the first time, because I never really dove into PTR, so this is actually my first time seeing all these things. And I guess maybe it just had been so long since we had actually spoken about it on the show that I either forgot about it or I was like, did we ever even know this? I don't know. But so I had a lot of those moments, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, my big thing is with 9.2, I remember a lot of the changes and I remember a lot of the big picture stuff that'll be happening in like Sepulchre or the first ones. I had kind of forgotten some of this little minor stuff that's happening day one. I mean, like today is day 2 of the expansion, or day 3 rather.
I felt like a baby on wobbly legs. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What is this zone? What is this? Where am I going?
I can confidently say, because it's been 10,000 years since 9.1, when I fought enemies and like it took them a long time to die and they were actually kicking my ass, I felt really scared. I was like, I'm not used to this.
It has been a long time since we had a new zone. And I felt like a kid opening a Christmas present because it's just so cool to explore a new zone, have new quests, new characters, new lore. It's a little overwhelming. And as Slide mentioned, this zone feels big, right? So I felt like Nazjatar was a pretty big, like, later patch expansion type deal. But this is bigger, right?
You know what it has in common with Nazjatar? There are parts that are too tall. Too tall. I'm just going to get this out of the way so you can make fun of me now and then forget it later. The big fish boss spawned at one point. I was too excited. I ran down a cliff to fight him. I fell, died, and by the time I could get back to my body, because the place is really big, he was dead. And that's the only time I've seen the big fish boss.
Aaron, can't you just, like, blink to the ground or like
I could have slow fell, I could have blinked. I was just too excited because I had never seen the big fish boss, and I guess I never will again.
Yeah, I haven't seen the big fish boss yet, so I'm actually kind of jealous. Who's honking out there? Ooh, excuse me, is that the big fish boss out there himself?
It's Mr. Fish Eater. He's too upset that I've done his voice too many times. He's like, I ain't gonna sound like that.
The big fish boss.
So I guess overall, what are your guys' thought of, not like, do we just want to start with Zereth Mortis, or do we want to start with like the intro storyline? Because I felt like that was kind of interesting. I guess this is one of the things that as I aforementioned, that like I completely forgot about. I forgot that the Dreadlords just like straight up infiltrated our Oribos core of the Hands of the Arbiter. I forgot that the Mossworn was literally going to be attacking the Arbiter's throne room. And I didn't realize that we were going to be riding around on a worm with Pelagos into the afterlife.
Which, by the way, and maybe I'm misremembering it, when that cutscene leaked, I swear it was an oracle that shot a big laser bolt at the portal to Zereth Mortis. But then in the real game, it was just 3 Moss-sworn angel guys. So I was like, what? Was that just to drum up excitement? And then be like, just kidding, guys. It's just Moss-sworn guys.
You know, I don't remember exactly what that cutscene was like when we saw it a long time ago. I basically, these last few days have made me realize that, like, the things we talk about on this podcast, I, like, forget immediately.
Did we know that there was going to be like a jailer's effort-esque quest? like fill the bar with doing rares and stuff.
No, we didn't know that. I'm not surprised that it's there, but I didn't know it was there. And then also that it would show up, dare I say, so soon in the narrative.
And okay, so there's another thing about that in general that I'm kind of mad about. So obviously the Jailer Efforts ones from Porthia, that was a one-time weekly. And I was under the impression that this was a bi-weekly quest, which, you know, has two meanings. It either means every other week or twice a week, but I knew that it was multiple times a week. So I was like, oh, so it'll kind of be like the Nazalts or whatever, where they were set on Tuesday and Friday, right? But no, it's like every 3 days or something like that, or 2 days, whatever. It's reset today on Thursday, so I didn't finish it in time because I'm an idiot.
It's every 3 days, but when we were dropped into the zone, we were dropped in on day 2 of day 3. So it cut off one day, basically, when the patch dropped for the first time. But that doesn't explain why this is a Thursday reset. So are we going for a totally different schedule than what we're used to?
All I know is that I did manage to do it day 1.5. So I am, if only because I have slightly more availability than the average Joe, I'm slightly ahead. And I think what that means is that I'm a step above humanity. I'm Homo Excelsior. I'm the next generation of man.
Aaron, how does it feel being better than everyone else?
Not great, because people are like, oh, I'm friendly 1,000, and all I am is like friendly 2,000. So I'm like, well, it's kind of, I guess eventually, all I need to do is stay on my game and never fuck up once. Not have a single day where I don't spend all of my day there. I'm sure I can do that.
And like, luckily, like, things don't really matter as much. Like, we don't get any, like, gear, you know what I mean? Like, it's mostly for fun. There is some, like, don't we get the augment rune from this?
Eventually, I believe we get the augment rune if we're exalted with them, but that's not going to happen for forever.
Yeah, I guess while we're speaking about gear, I feel like the gear that's available in Zereth Mortis isn't necessarily good for our mains, who are like all near 250-ish, but
that's the unfortunate part, is that because we were ahead of the curve, we were on the ball, there's really nothing for us right now. But I have done an ult, and it is convenient.
Yeah, like even my hunter is probably too geared to really benefit from this, but everything below him, they'll probably come in here and get like 40 eye level upgrades.
I'm still mad. I'm mad about the Jailer's Efforts thing, because so I was doing the campaign quest, and before I finished it, rares kept popping. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep running to all these rares. So I killed so many rares on like day 1 that I didn't actually finish the campaign quest until day 2, because I just killed rares and treasures. And then I roll up to fucking day 2, and it's like, oh, by the way, if you kill rares and, open treasures, maybe we'll fill your little bar. And I'm like, I spent all day doing that. If I would have known that this bar was here, I would have gotten here a lot faster. So I just barely missed that first Jailers. I keep calling it Jailers. What do we call this thing?
Well, technically, it's called patterns within patterns or something
patterns
like that.
Patterns within patterns.
Okay.
And then don't worry, the patch is young, but people are still like, PIP. Need to kill boss for Pip.
So I failed to complete my patty mayonnaise day 1. I have completed my patty mayonnaise day 2.
What's going on, Doug?
I still have yet to complete a St. Patrick's Day. Or St. Patrick's almost daily. St. Patrick's every 3 days.
Ugh. It's weird. It's fine. It's whatever. Okay. So I asked you guys off the pod how much Cosmic Flux you guys had, because I'm curious what our numbers are at.
I would like to go last. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel like I probably have the least, so I will go first. I have 1,140.
I have 3,027.
Oh, baby, what are you doing? I have 5,365.
I am very behind on Zereth Mortis. I basically just did the quests, and obviously I didn't do enough to finish my patties, but Yeah, I'm behind, but it's whatever. I'm not too worried. I feel like we're going to get very tired of the zone very quickly, I assume. So
That's the thing is, while I am ahead, it is only for this week. And because most people are like, I had to go visit my mom. I had to do my job. I just so happen to have 2 or 3 days where I could leave work very early and be like,
Ian is sabotaging me and my plan for playing while at work, my at work laptop that I have just for playing games in my breaks. This is the second day now that Ian has been trying to fix the game for you other losers out there who keep disconnecting. And the minute I go on my break, he's like, all right, start maintenance. And the minute his break's over, let's end the maintenance. So if I had that extra hour, I'd probably have 5,000 flux too, you know. It's a fun little gradient.
I can tell you that my 5,000 comes from really just getting down on my hands and my knees and just combing the desert for every little bit of content. Because I can tell you, if I have 5,000, 3,000 of those were earned under duress of like, please give me anything. I feel like this area, and maybe it's because I'm hashtag epic and it is the opening days, is going really slow.
I kind of agree. I mean, like, part of the reason why I didn't get my Patty's quest done is because, I don't know, I feel like or maybe I just had a better understanding of what exactly I needed to do to get my jailer's efforts done, and I still am learning that, so maybe that's why it's going slower for me. But, yeah, in general, I don't know what I'm doing. But, I guess while we're talking about Cosmic Flux still, are we going to give it a fun nickname? I mean, like, because it's effectively the new Soul Ass,
That's
right?
true. It's the new Soul Ass. It's the new...
I honestly think it has a pretty good name. I almost think it doesn't even need a nickname. Flux is fun to say, but Cosmic's fun to say. It's a pretty fun called Cosmic Brownie. See, but that's too much. That's stupid. I like Cosmic Flux the way it is, I think she's perfect.
Hear me out. Cosmic Fucks.
Okay, all right.
Damn, you know what? That's true. That's only shorter. Like, it's the same amount of syllables, but it's only shorter. Cosmic Fucks.
Cock fucks.
And then if you're hip and you're happening and you're making tier pieces, people could be like, "Where are you at?" You'd be like, "I'm straight out of Cosmic Fucks to give today. I spent it all on a headpiece."
Ooh, thank you for that amazing segue into this quick hot fix we just got, where Blizzard is lowering the Great Vault requirements for Raid, Mythic Plus, and PvP in Shadowlands Season 3.
I will just say, because I know the numbers are lowered by 1, and the last one was 9, so do you think they did it because that first week, there's only 8 bosses?
Ooh.
I think you're onto something here. Because overall, is it the same number of bosses in Sadis and Seppi?
No. Yes.
There's 1 less.
I also think a lot of it, I'm sure they have the numbers, right? Imagine how many people they saw who were unable to get that third vault because they couldn't kill Sylvanas, right? Like, if you can't kill Sylvanas, you don't get any of that third vault. So this makes sense because... like, obviously, if you're killing 8 raid bosses, you're going to get 3 vaults. If you don't kill the last 3 bosses, then their loot isn't added to the pool. So, like, this is literally only a win-win for, like, everybody. Like, this is great. The third Mythic Plus vault now requires 8 completed dungeons instead of 10. And the third PvP vault now requires 5,500 honor instead of 6,250. So that's nice, I guess, if you're doing that. I wonder if they're gonna add Cosmic Fucks to the what's that thing called whenever you have bad rewards? And
I don't know
tokens?
if it has an official name, but yeah, just the lowest area, the consolation prize area.
I guess there's not Soul Cinders there, but I don't know. Maybe they can put some Cosmic Fucks on the menu.
They'll at least give it to the man, the broker guy who stands there to be like, "Oh, trade your things in for flux."
I overall do like, though, that it seems that we're able to just do daily things in Zereth Mortis, and then you can make a legendary, which is nice that you don't have to go to Torghast if you don't want to, I guess.
We don't know anything about sending Cosmic Fucks across characters yet, do we?
I don't know that you can, but I know that you can confirm 10 Soldas and the cinders to your alts now.
Wait, so I can send cinders right now? Like now?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
That
pretty
makes
good.
sense.
I have so many fucking cinders. I was doing Torghast level 9s on my druid to get rep, and I just ended up with a lot of fucking materials. Damn, okay. I mean, I think also, like, this does not need to be controversial. Poccopoc is beautiful and the best fucking thing in Zereth Mortis right now.
If anything, I knew he was going to be a great guy because you can summon him while moving. You just hit the button and your guy wiggles your hands even while you're moving. You don't have to sit there and dedicate 5 seconds to Poccopoc. But he's great. As far as what he does, not amazing at the moment, but it's early.
I'm confused about what he does, honestly. There's this one chest that I encountered where it's like, okay, first off, Poccopoc has like energy bar of his own out of 10, and there's this chest that I came to, and then I was like, do you want to do this thing for 9 energy or this thing for 1? I really didn't understand from the wording what this meant, so I'm like, 9, sure, whatever, and then it just completed a world quest and gave me a little bit of a reward.
So the thing is, so you know all those fun puzzles that you love, you can do it for 2, or you can tell him to cheat for you for 9.
Okay, I'm going to go on a little mid-episode tangent here. And I just want to say that, like, these puzzles are hard, aren't they?
I have not seen one because I've only brute forced them with Poccopoc, so I don't know.
I only saw them from the one crazy broker in the cave, because he also has, like, you do them from, like, a tutorial type deal.
Did you just spoiler me on my own podcast? This is ridiculous. I'm calling my
You
lawyer.
spoiler us on our own. We're co-owners of the podcast. You have co-spoiled. Yes, Fareem teaches you how to do those.
You were just co-spoiled.
Who's Fareem? Oh my, I got spoiled again?
You know who Fareem is. It's literally the first enlightened you meet. I'm sorry, he's not enlightened. He chose to delighten himself.
Much like the American public, I guess.
Hey. Okay, so I legit have not done any puzzle quests. Like I've only brute forced 1. I've only seen 1.
Honestly, I stand by my decision of using 9 of his 10 energy to not do that. Then
I fully admit. The other day, or a couple, I guess 40 minutes ago, when I was playing to try and increase my flux to really dunk on you guys, I ran into one of those chests and I was like, Poccopoc, what you got? And he had 4 out of 9. I was like, or 4 out of 10. And I was like, well, okay, maybe I can try this. And it is the one, players will know, I can't even describe it. It's the one where when you hit a button, it does the opposite of everything in a plus shape. I tried for like 15 minutes and I was like, Poco, fuck this thing. I'm leaving.
Oh, no lie, that is legit the hardest puzzle I've ever had to do in World of Warcraft. I finished it. I finished one of them. But I also had to look up a guide and watch an 8-minute YouTube video on tips and tricks on how to do it. And I was like, basically, I am a stubborn motherfucker, so I'm like, I'm going to do this. But, like, it was one of the harder things in the game, and I was like, yo, okay, side tangent here. I guess Blizzard, like, accidentally has been, like, banning people for supposedly doing, like, real money transactions, and they never did or something. Anyways, I feel like this is something that, like, somebody out there could, like, charge a few bucks and, like, carry some people through these puzzles. Also, you can probably carry some people through these fucking, like, platforming balls in the middle of Zereth Mortis. That was also probably harder than the Holy Priest Mage Tower.
I would sell carries for that. And all I do was just go and change the person's covenant to Venthyr. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, trust me, it's much faster than anything else I could do than actually learning how to jump on the balls.
Yeah, especially if you have Theatar and have, like, 2 Door of Shadows.
I rather enjoyed the bot puzzle and found it rather easy to complete without using any covenant abilities.
I mean, I didn't either. I did it as Kyrian because, as I already said, I was stubborn. And I was like, I've already spent 10 minutes on this. I'm going to spend 20 and finish it. And I did.
I've only ever cheated. On Growlina, I Door of Shadows. As Booty ATW, I was playing her a bit today. I just heroic leapt. And if that didn't get me to the chest, I'd sit there for 1 calendar minute and wait to do it again.
Shit, the number of warlock gates I've seen scattered around the zone, like astronomical.
I've never seen the warlock, but I've seen the warlock gates everywhere.
No, same. I like see them everywhere. I'm like, I do not see another player character anywhere. Why are there literally 6 sets of warlock gates here?
I think I know why. I know why you guys don't like to do the ball jumping puzzles. So when I'm doing the puzzle and I fail, and I know that somebody watched me fall off the ball, I just go invisible. I press prowl, and then I do the puzzle invisibly, so nobody can see me do it. It's a judgment-free zone. It's beautiful.
You're like, this is Planet Fitness. But no, I constantly feel judged, and also I'm constantly triggered. I am immediately in my mind brought back to my first days in World of Warcraft in that Pandaren starting zone where I was unable to platform off that fucking boat.
Every time I fall off an orb, it feels just as bad as falling off in Serpent Shrine caverns. And just being like, guys, don't leave. And they always boot me.
Man, that's the worst feeling. Once you fall and you've already killed 4 bosses, it's over for you. You're not going to make it to the end.
I mean, also, in our defense, we were also very drunk while playing back in the day there, and we also didn't know anything. But also, even if you were sober and knew what you were doing, I feel like it would probably take you a solid 10 minutes to, like, get back up there.
And that's how long it takes me to get to some of these fucking rares in Zereth Mortis and Zereth Fitness.
Yeah. The rares are both far too long to get to, but then also stay up for, like, really long. Like, sometimes it'll be across the map, and I'm like, it's too much. I can't do it. And I'll check back, like, 5 minutes later, and it's still there. I was like, why didn't I just go when I had the chance?
Yeah, and so we only get 3 teleporters, right? Or as Pablo and our guild calls them. What does he call them? Little spermies?
FPs.
Okay, so he didn't call them sperm, but he did say, yo, guys, when you transform into the little orb things while you're teleporting around Zereth Mortis, it kind of looks like something else, if you know what I mean. And then I think Myth was like, Pablo, what do you mean? And then I'm like, what the fuck? You're right. Because like, you're this little golden piece that's surrounded by this white orb with, like, a glowy wiggly tail. And then Pablo was like, I just meant a comment. Smiley face.
Yeah, just, good old Ashley's comment comes by once every 80 years. What have you guys spent any of your research bucks? Okay, so there's so many currencies that my brain is not.
I've spent. You mean the little Poccopoc dollars?
Poccopoc cash, Poccopoc. There's something there. Poccopoc coins. There's a good one.
I mean, but Poccopoc pennies.
Poccopoc pennies.
Also, I've spent far too many of my Poca pennies. I have been falling into just spending them if there's a thing that I can get, and it's gotten me not a bunch. Like when I come upon a Giro, apparently when he takes over their mind, I get the best buff I can out of it. I don't care.
I don't know what to do with the echoing Giros. He's like, hey, look at those, and I'm like, look at what?
All it is they give you a random buff, but it's stuff like when you kill someone, increase movement speed by 3%.
Do you have to unlock this?
You unlock the ability to do it, and then you increase your ability to get better buffs from them.
Oh, I don't think I chose that path yet, because I need to look into see like what of the things I need to upgrade. Also, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as the Poccobucks. I mean, the Poca pennies. So, yeah, I'm behind. I need to catch up on here. And also, this happens to us every fucking time there's a new patch. There's like a million new currencies, and I'm like, I don't know what any of these mean. But especially there's one of them this time where the description of it is literally in a different language. And I'm like, well, at least I literally don't know what this is for.
So you have Poca pennies. I think they're called ciphers. Is that what they're called? That's the cipher system, I think. Secondly, the Echo Giros do look like the Pokemon Dragapult. Right? Is that just me?
Yes. Okay. They do.
Phew. I was like, am I crazy? Because they have like the same head. I love Dragapult so far. I love Dragapult.
Is that the one with the catapult on its back?
The one that fires
No,
the two.
it has like a flat, like stealth bomber looking head, and it shoots little dragons out of its head. It's Gen 8, so I don't blame you for not remembering.
Oh, he
it.
should know because I've killed him with my Dragapult before.
I mean, I'm sure I would recognize it when I saw it, but I think maybe what I was thinking of was Catapult Turtle from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Dragon Ghost
Yes.
Pokemon. That's what I'm referencing. But have you spent your Poke Pennies on the Poccopoc customization feature?
You know I have. My man is brown and gold, and he has little wingies on him, and he has a variety of hats, including a chef hat.
You have a chef. You have a chef hat. You have like a.
I
Gordon
have a
Ramsay
chef hat, a tricorn
Ratatouille?
hat, a safari hat, and a candle.
And you're balling out. Wait, hold up. Wait, freeze. So, but those are separate, right? Because the hats are different from the customization. So you have both. Okay.
The customization you have to pay Poke Pennies for. The hats you can just talk to your little boy and be like, I think you should be wearing a hat. And he goes, I agree.
Okay, because right before recording, Slide was like, oh my god, did you know that you can customize your Poccopoc? And I'm like, yeah, I put a candle on his head. And then Slide was like, what do you mean a candle? And I was like, you can talk to him and put things on his head. And I found a candle, apparently. And then he's like, no, I'm talking about this. And then he's like, over on this console with all these like different customization options. I'm like, excuse me? Where is that? What is that? What is that?
Spend your Poke Pennies and you too can put little wingies and make them pearl and diamond.
And maybe even black 2 and white 2.
Honestly, though, really good games. One of the best in the series. Crazy to say that.
I'm waiting for them to get remade.
I would love that. But I do have like a couple negatives, and I think my biggest negative is that the zone feels like the Nuzults, where like back in the day for BFA, you would fly out to Uldum, and you'd be like, okay, I'm here to get my quest. And then you're like, it's like, no, sorry, the quests aren't here. The quests are actually over here. Like, the hubs are, like, separated, right? You have, like, the Poccopoc vaults with all, like, his stuff. And then you have the Haven. Is it Haven? Haven area?
Yeah, the main hub
yes.
is Haven.
And, like, now that, like, that was my complaint before, but I guess now that I know that there's the sperm system that goes in between those two, it's a little easier, but it's still kind of annoying that I had to be at the right one to do, you know what I mean? Like, why not just, like, combine them? Like, I know it makes it feel more like you're exploring the zone more, so you're not, like, in, like, your garrison, quote-unquote, doing one thing. But, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then, like, I'm glad that, like, at least they gave us this sperm system to tell. I was laughing to myself because when you said that, I was just like, I don't know. I immediately went to sperm bank because I'm like, yeah, okay, this is sperm bank system. But anyways, I get from a lore perspective that, like, if Fareem is giving you quests, obviously he's not going to be with the Enlightened because they aren't friends. But I agree that it's a little annoying. Maybe the teleporting from them should just be instant instead of like actual flight paths. It does feel a little annoying to have to hop around to these different places. But overall, I do think that the zone is really pretty.
Right, I was gonna say, like if one of the main complaints is, I hate having to go to this area instead of this area, this is a pretty good system, right? Like, it's pretty fucking good.
It's a very pretty zone, despite the fact that half of it is desert. Which is, it's a real bummer. I knew there'd be a desert zone, but I was like, I didn't know it'd be literally half. Oh, this is a real bummerito. By the way, a big symptom of it being early patch, if you go to the desert, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Oh, I know. I've died in the desert already.
It's weird that the desert enemies are so tough.
What do you mean? You guys are dying in the desert? I'm not dying in the desert.
Oh, yeah, you can go invisible. Also, I AFK'd because my burrito was done, and I was like, I need to go pick that up, and I came back, and I was dead, okay?
Why would I not be invisible? Wait, but they actually are harder in desert? Like, I didn't know that.
It is distinctly harder. There will be the big sandworms come up. When they shoot you with one, they have a very far, like, leash rate. When they shoot you, that's like 15% of your health. if this thing is on you for multiple seconds, you're done. You got to cauterize out of there. You got to turn invisible. You got to hit an ice block. Anything to survive.
Yeah, it's definitely that early patch energy. I feel like it would be worse if we weren't as geared as we are, but yeah, I've substantially spent less time in the desert.
Also, the desert just has stuff where there will be secret chests that are way higher, and I'm like, I actually don't know how to get that.
I feel like in general, the treasures feel a little harder to get to right now, not even just in the desert. In some of the other ones, especially if you aren't a Venthyr, I was like, how, or a warrior, or somebody who can do like warlock shit or whatever, I'm like, how do you get up there? I mean, like, I feel like some of these treasures, I'm going to have to wait until we get flying in like 3-ish weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I just wild charge up there. Not that big of a deal, you know? Just play a druid, guys.
Can you wild charge vertically?
Yeah, if you aim it right off a nice little angle.
If you're in travel
you
form,
know
right?
what? You know what? That's probably what went into the design of the zone. Was they're like, well, these will be easily achieved by our 48% of the players that play druid, and then they didn't think of literally everyone else.
They're like, well, 48% of the player base is druid. Approximately 20% of the rest of the player base is Venthyr. Maybe an additional 10% is Warlock, so like, maybe 80% of the player base can access this stuff.
I'm just wondering if, like, Kyrian... I'm trying to think with the least mobile race. Kyrian Death Knights, do they even have their 10 out of 10 chests yet? Are there 10 chests they can reach?
Not gonna lie, I'm not there yet, but I'm also just behind.
Just pull yourself. Just do astral pull on yourself.
I'm still thinking about the desert and how crazy it is that you... I was like, what's the struggle? I legitimately did not understand. Like, and that's why I'm like, oh my god, am I going to main a stealth class for the rest of my life? Because, like, I can't imagine going back to that peasant life of having to worry about what mobs are going to do to me when I can just avoid them. It's crazy. You guys live your lives in fear every day you log on to this game.
It's like when you talked about the Korthia, like, alternative zone, when you were like, when things root me, I just leave. And we were like, wow.
I mean, like, to be fair, I probably have it slightly better than Aaron, because at least if things are hitting me, I heal myself. But it still is annoying, because, like, I don't do as much damage, so I'm not going to actively fight things. And as Aaron said, those worms, I feel like their leash range is like fucking literally the entire desert. And then the entire desert is like at least a solid third of Zereth Mortis. So
you can tell that this zone was kind of designed with flying in mind, though. Like the 3 teleporters not being a lot. It only gets you where you need to go quickly. There's like a lot of design choices.
If Zereth Mortis was a traditional clock, I feel like you have warp points at like 6, 8, and like 3. The entirety of the desert is barren. You cannot go there. You have to walk there.
Okay, so it's funny that you said that it like you refer to it as a clock, because it's circular, it's pretty big, but also it kind of reminds me how it's like divided into like different biomes or whatever. It kind of reminds me of the Hunger Games in some ways, especially like
catching fire.
When you said clock, I was like, yes.
There's even paths that go to like the different where time would be. It almost seems like it's intentional. And then the jailer came in and he fucked up hours like 7 through like 10.
Okay, I'm glad you had this thought too, because I was looking at it and I was like, the way it's circular, and then like I was walking around it in circles, I'm like, tick-tock.
Weird. I was getting big Junie B. Jones vibes from the map. I wasn't really thinking about it.
I pulled up the map and I squinted at it and I was like, Junie B. Jones gets her first pair of glasses? Is that you?
How many times have you guys crossed through the middle, that center point, that big golden ball? How many times have you guys just like crossed through that waterway? Ever?
I haven't, no.
I have. That's kind of where like the forces of the Shadowlands are fighting Zoval's guys, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, this is my shortcut. I'm gonna wild charge up on top of it and just run through it. I love that they put stairs on the inside of it, because they knew the players were going to immediately jump into the middle of this pool and they were going to be stuck there. When I first jumped in there, I was like, oh my god, I'm not getting out of here. And then I saw the perfectly placed little 3 blocks of stairs to get out, and I'm like, Blizzard knows their players. They know we're gonna get stuck in stupid ass places. But like, it's also the most efficient route to take if you're trying to get to a rare before it dies somehow in 2 seconds. They have a lot of health and they scale. Who's hitting them this hard?
I don't know.
Yeah, they scale a lot. Like, sometimes we'll be fighting people, and people will be trickling in, and I'll see the boss's health goes from, like, 70 to 78, and I'm like, stop coming in. You're making it harder.
Wait on the sidelines. Wait your turn, Brock.
Live from the big orb in the middle, here comes Growlina live from Zereth Mortis. Greetings, listeners and players, from the spherical Eden that is Zereth Mortis. I'm joined today by Snapdrake. Snap, you and I have been sitting here, waiting for this giant worm for what feels like an eternity. Do you feel like this is going by slowly?
A little bit, but I guess it's not any worse than Korthia. Rares always take forever when you just wait for them. There were just more of them in Korthia, so no one ever noticed.
You do have a point. There are certainly fewer foes here, if only because they're all so much beefier.
A little too much if you ask me. I wait for 20 minutes, and then it takes me another 20 to kill them. It can be a bit much.
Well, let's hope that this one gets... Well, speak of the devil. Here's the big worm now. I'm gonna hang up this call so I don't die in another 4 hits. But I'll be back soon. Until then, here's the second half. Thanks, Growl. You sure gave us 2 minutes of time for me to think about this very important question. You two, what the fuck is the Slumbering Vault?
Huh?
Okay, I thought maybe I just skimmed through some questing a little too fast, but no, it was all of a sudden a very big part of the storyline. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Or what is this? Because that's where the Oracle retreated to, right? After the jailer zapped over energy and then flew to the sepulcher.
I believe so. And it is a very important place that people keep telling me this is the Slumbering Vault. But then I tried to go back in, and I cannot. And it has been 3 days. When do I get access to this vault?
I'm unsure. And I guess while we're talking about this, I feel okay, so far in the Zereth Mortis, there's one defined main questline chain, right?
Zereth Mortis.
And in Zereth Mortis, there's one canon lore chain, but then there's also, I feel a bunch of other quests that aren't dailies that are just side quests. A few of them give you pets or things that are random, and then a few of them, as far as I could tell, were just there for the Mortis lore.
It seems like there's a lot of lore emphasis on either doing the quest or there's even a machine in the Poccopoc cavern that's dispense available lore thing to you, and I'm like, what? And he gives me this little lore book that I can read, and I'm like, I'm not reading this. Delete. I'll read it later whenever I feel like it.
This is such a byproduct of it being literally day 3 of this patch. But my man keeps sitting down with his cool Vambata, and he's like, I'm going to catch a big frog one of these days. And I'm like, all he has me do is just get very common consumables, very common, crafting stuff. And he's like, we're going to catch a frog one of these days. And I'm so excited to see where that leads me.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the things I was thinking of, because this is a assumedly daily-ish quest in Haven. It's not marked as a daily. It just seems to be every day this man has a different quest for me. And yeah, as you said today, he's like, give me 30 meats that you have approximately 270 of,
Well, actually, I'm a step above. He had me give him 200 cloths to create a net that did nothing.
Oh my god, thank god. I have so much fucking cloth. I don't want this shit. I was like, do I put my literal 10,000 cloth in the guild bank? The guild bank probably doesn't want that either.
Wait, are you actually ahead, or is it just a different quest randomized?
No. I mean, I'm actually, it's the same guy, so I assume just he'll give you more and more consumable stuff you need to give him day by day until eventually you do catch that frog.
I don't even know who you're talking about, if I'm being honest. Drace's words are lost on me, because I've done none of this. I don't know what you're talking about.
It started as just one of those random quests in Haven that is not marked as a daily, and it's not marked as a campaign quest. So I don't know exactly why I did it, but I was just like, it's a new zone. I'm just going to do all the quests I see. Maybe there's some lore tidbits. And I'm like, this kind of feels very much like that one in the Uldum Nuzult region where you ended up getting the mount that was the mount that you could fly on.
Oh.
Yeah, the bug. I was going to say Kathir, but I don't think that's the right species.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yes.
I was going to be like, why are you even doing it? If it's not blue or doesn't have a shield, then why? Who cares? Who fucking cares?
No, this boy is very much so hyping up that we will get a frog from this. So I'm like, is it a frog mount? Is it a frog pet? Either way, I want it.
I guess I should find this dude, because I'm like, there's a frog boy? I like frogs.
Well, Slidewhistle, you're left out of this quest chain, but here's something only you specifically, and the three spotlights on the stage focused on you.
I know this is.
Can answer. Cheetah, what's going on with that? Because I see every single feral on Twitter.com bitching about this thing.
Wait, bitching? What do you mean bitching?
It was supposed to be freer, I guess. Pablo said it was, quote, so disappointing. What's your opinion of this cheetah form?
I think it's a really good form. It looks way better than the ugly, nasty 6-polygon cheetah form that was travel form. I actually think it looks too much like a cat. It looks more like a cat than the feral forms like a cat. So I'm using it all the time because I think it looks cool as fuck.
And for some reason, he changed his feral form away from the white and blue Legion artifact one to one that is the same color as this cheetah form. So sometimes he is confused about whether or not he's in cat form or travel form.
You make it sound like I changed it after the fact. No, I often change my forms because I was my beautiful white and blue one for a long time, and I was like, let's see a different color palette in here just for a little bit, and I became an orange cat, and now the new cat looks just like my orange cat, just like skinnier.
Are you telling me that you have switched away from the form that Immunization paid a woman now under siege to craft for you?
Oh, God, she is.
To be like, actually, I want it to look like a little cheater.
Man, I hope she's okay. That's crazy. But, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's not funny. I hope she's okay.
Fuck. I'm not bound to a cat form because I have a statue of it. I love this statue. This is me. But this can also change forms if I paint it. You know what I mean?
Very true.
But yeah, I think the travel form is amazing. People are giving guff. They're like, why didn't you keep the old one as an option? And that's fair. It should be as an option. They probably just don't want people seeing 6-polygon cats and being like, this is what World of Warcraft's like nowadays. Everyone's like, no, you don't understand. I'm wearing a retro form. This game looks old and bad. I'm not playing this anymore.
Why is that doe there then?
The doe looks updated. The doe's a cat up. Don't you even compare the doe. You right now, look at the fucking doe form and look at the fucking old cheetah form. And your ass is about to get blasted because they're not even close. The doe has 1 million times the polygons that the old cheetah has. So you fucking don't disrespect the doe.
Listen. Okay, I understand. I momentarily forgot exactly how fucking ugly old cheetah form was, and I distinctly remember seeing it in the past and being like, this is probably one of the most disgusting beings I've seen in this game.
And the doe form, don't even mislead. The doe form is ugly, but it's ugly with more than 6 polygons.
This is an honest, like an on-God question. Now that you are Wild Seed, the man, is it still a doe or is it a buck?
It was a doe. Until I got the new cheetah form. Now I'm wearing this new cheetah form all the time.
But you, as a male night elf, you can be what is technically a female deer.
Yeah. Yep. You can choose those separately from your gender.
Word.
So I was just running around as I'm a doe.
Man, it looks so derpy compared to the other forms, though.
It's so because there's nothing to indicate that it's a druid. It's just it looks like a regular ass deer you'd see in the wild, like in like America.
It also doesn't have a wild charge animation. I think that's my big problem with it.
That's why I love it. It just like T poses, but as a deer, like 6 meters away. That's it. So that's why I think it's also why I love the cheetah form, because when it fucking wild charges, that bitch like jumps like a cat. Like the feet come together and it just leaps. I'm like, oh my god, it's so fluid. Not realizing I've been using a clunky animation on purpose as the doe. So the sleeping vault, huh? We're gonna go sleep in there or what?
Yeah. You know what? I asked what's going on with it, but I guess the patch is still young. Maybe more will happen with that. But what I want to talk about is fucking the story started. I can certainly say that it started. I don't know how much substance we've gotten out of it yet.
Yeah, okay, one big thing I kind of want to talk about is there's two things. First off, as I mentioned before, obviously there are dreadlords that are working with the jailer and have infiltrated our player characters' ranks to the point that, like, they were disguising as, like, the Hands of the Arbiter, but they were also disguising as us. Like, we had to face off against ourselves, which I thought was very cool and very interesting. And not just any dreadlord was facing off against us. Like, Melganis himself decided to disguise himself as Immunization.
I will say, I was very sad, and I know he can't do it because he's not us. I was a little sad for, like, that first 10 seconds of the fight that they didn't use your abilities on you. I was very ready to see Growlina turn around and start doing some pyroblasts on me, but no, she just did Darkness Cone.
Yeah. I was also like, ooh, is this bitch gonna throw a divine star at me or something? Or holy fire? Some smites? I don't know. Like, because I'm a very offensive character here.
I immediately knew nothing of such substance was gonna happen, because when I ran up to Melganis, I was in cheetah form, my travel form, which has no attacks associated with it. And once I saw that cheetah cast Shadow Bolt, I was like, this is not me.
This is actually very interesting. So, like, it was in cheetah form?
I was just about to say, as a druid, what did this man even look like? Did he look like a night elf? Did he look like your cat? He was your travel form?
It was my travel new cheetah form. He cast Shadow Bolt by rubbing his little paws together, and then once I got closer, he began to use my cat mechanics. So he was swiping and he was thrashing, but I'm like, but it's cheetah form.
Did he really do that?
Yeah, he did. He like
because I ran up to him, and as Growlina, like the wolf woman made of fire, he was just doing Shadow Bolt.
There was like melee attacks coming out of him, like, and like he was making like the feral like blood movements that I would make, but he was just doing it in the wrong form. So I was like, interesting. I don't know. See, my biggest regret now is not being in doe form. Because imagine the doe making cat slashes or a doe casting Shadow Bolt. Man, this sucks. Now you know what? Fuck this travel form. I missed out on a great experience.
I'm just trying to, like, think, like, if there was a fifth druid form, a druid spec that is doe-based, what would it be called?
Just pacifist.
Doe fist.
You know what you are is, instead of being a druid where it's like, I change into the form of an animal to fight, you're just like an otherkin. You're like, I was born a night elf, but I really just identify as a doe.
It's perfect.
Also, after the Melganis fight, Jaina and Bane, I think, show up, and then you realize that Melganis is just a distraction, and the jailer Anduin are already doing their thing up in the Seppi. And Jaina acknowledges that she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be really shitty to you guys right now. And I thought it was so funny that she like literally just puts you in like a frost tornado and carries you across the map.
she's done that before, if I remember. She did it during BFA. So it was a fun callback. I guess that's just Jaina's premier way to move you around.
That was weird. I'm like, there's not a better way for you to move us around the map.
Listen, Jaina, I know you are one of, if not possibly, the most powerful mages still alive in Azeroth and wherever we currently are now, Zereth Mortis, obviously. You can definitely summon 3 water elementals to transport us.
Like, just teleport us. Why are you gonna put me in some cold winds?
Yeah. So that was the thing too, was she was like, before you click on her, she's like, I'm sorry if this mode of travel is uncomfortable. And I know teleportation is always supposed to like make you lose your lunch in media, but I was like, Growlina's used to it. She's warped literally a million times. And then I clicked on her, and yeah, she put me in a frost tornado. I was like, you know what? I haven't been in that one much. I will admit.
I mean, and also, you're right. Literally a few quests earlier, she opened a portal to Haven. So we know that she can we know that she can like open portals within Zereth Mortis. So, Jaina, were you just trying to make us lose our lunch?
I mean, it's possible. I don't see why.
But so at this point in the story, we watched Anduin corrupt an oracle with the oracle that is like the third boss fight in the Sephi, and that's it. Did you guys feel like we'd get more within the first week of this patch?
No, not really.
I mean, some people are like already kind of disappointed, but like also personally, I guess I've been kind of slow to the start here, and I guess I also need to take Metaloid and get him caught up too, because I don't know if I'll be raiding with him or not. I think I might be. Maybe that's still up in the air. I don't know. So he should be current as well. So I'll need to come back and do this stuff on him too. But I feel like there's been enough content, but I had definitely have not been as active in game as I have been on patch days in the past. So I definitely understand why people who like rushed through it, played nonstop, did all of their dailies and everything every day, and they're like, well, this is it. I mean, yeah, I guess this is it. But then people are also going to say that next week when the raid opens, especially if they're non-raiders.
So Gershom said this in our Discord. Go to donotrelent.com to join that. She was like, it was actually pretty neat because this is very alt-friendly, this opening patch. There's not like a bunch of quests in your way. Things are going a little slower. And I tested this today on Booty ATW. When you get the quest from Talgalon, you can just hit, yeah, I get it. And it drops you where we are now. So Booty ATW is already talking with Bolvar about the every 3 days quest. She was doing the world quest. And I really like that because I feel like even in Korthia, even if you're like, yeah, I get it, there was still a lot of like lead up stuff you had to do. Now they're just like, okay, we'll just drop you in the most current experience right now. And I appreciate that.
Honestly, that is pretty cool. Is there any downside to skipping Zereth Mortis intro stuff like that?
Not that
yes, there is.
Is there?
You lose out on rep. You don't get as much resources going into it. You basically you get to just skip it, but you don't get to have any of the stuff that comes with doing those.
Are there materials that come out of like the intro quest when you're in the Misty Swamp?
Yes. So like completing those gives you like resources, and you don't get those if you skip them.
Like cosmic fucks or.
I don't
remember.
think it gives you cosmic fucks or anything. It gives you gold. You
would 100% lose out on something. It's been in guild chat a lot, so much to the point where I was like, I'm not skipping it because I will lose out on X. I don't remember what X is, but you definitely do lose out on something by skipping. Now, to be fair, you gain your time, which is totally fair, but you definitely are missing something, and I will Google it right now.
Well, while he Googles, this is Aaron's mini report. I have had more than enough time to goof around with things, and I can tell you, I came into Zereth Mortis on Growlina on war mode, just to see what it was
Oh,
like.
you did?
And yeah, it's a little disappointing right now because the patch is too new. People are cooperating too much. Like, we were running by Horde, and I was like, I was throwing a firebolt at them, and I was like, let's fight them. And then people wouldn't back me up. And I said, what the fuck? And I'd come back, and I'd be like, why didn't you? And they'd be like, we're just trying to do our thing, asshole. And I was like, what the
I'm glad. I actually am glad for them that we still have decorum on the opening patch week. Because this is how it was in Nashatar. People were very chill. People were okay. Mechagon, people were very chill. People were okay. And then once that point hit where people stopped gaining like resources or gaining like anything like important, then the fucking murder was so bloodthirsty that it was disgusting. We got bridge battles. We got Mechagon horrible 40-man raids that turned into an 80-man raid. I guarantee you by the end of this week, maybe next week, there's going to be so much bloodshed, and we have to be a part of this. I also did find out what you miss from skipping it.
What do you miss?
Lazy, Lazey, says, you will miss reputation, Cypher research currency, your first Cypher equipment with guaranteed Zereth Mortis effects, including teleport boots that help on treasures. It's nice to have this option, but with only 45 to 60 minutes for the three chapters, I don't recommend using the skip as the rep in Cypher research is too valuable.
That is very true. I do not have and I don't know if it's different for different armor classes, but I don't have the bracers that give me the three different things on Booty ATW.
Is Booty max renown? She probably is, right?
She is, yeah, with the Kyrian.
Apparently also the renown gain is humongous from this, which pisses me off.
Yeah, that's also a thing. People are like, I saw a video that was like, getting max renown on all the things, and I was just an idiot, and I was like, who doesn't have that?
I mean, to be fair, in our defense, there wasn't a whole lot to do in our like old patch, so that's what we did. We got max renown on all of our covenants, basically.
Yeah, literally everyone.
I love how like you guys got max renown on like your character. Meanwhile, I got max renown on several different characters without ever completing it on one whole character. It sucks. I'm so mad about that.
Does Wild Seed still have people he needs to hang out with?
I have not even touched Venthyr on Wild Seed, and I am 79 out of 80 on Kyrian. I finished Necrolord. I obviously finished Night Fae, but because then I went to my Death Knight Alan, and I got him to max renown for Night Fae, and then I got max renown on somebody else, my Paladin, but then I changed the specs to the other one, so now it's a whole fucking convoluted mess. And now it's time for our top two bottom boot medium mooch. Aaron, what you got this week?
I mean, I'm just going to be the first one to do it, so you guys have to get something original, and I can take the easy way out. It's going to be a top two that we got a new patch. I didn't expect 9.2 to ever come out, and it's here. That's a little slower than I would imagine it would be, but it is literally just day 3, and I'm excited to do new shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Slidewhistle, what's your TTBBM?
I got a big old top two. Yo, Poccopoc is fucking cute as shit, and I love him. Okay.
He is a little cute boy.
I just feel like he feels so fluid. The way that he instantly turns to like a little Samus Metroid ball and rolls with you. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he'll attack with you sometimes. I feel like he attacks very rarely, in my opinion, but I watched him trying his hardest okay, so I'm trying to solo bosses out here because I'm a baller and I fail most of the time, but I have killed some rares alone. But I wasn't alone because my boy Poccopoc was casting, I think it was called like last attempt or like final tribute, and he's shooting out these cute little like white, I would say sperm, it makes it not cute, cute little white like death bolts. And I'm like, he's casting spells? He can cast spells?
Okay, so like there was this one daily quest today where you needed to pick up flowers or something like that, and when you picked it up, then these little gnats would fly out and attack you. And I noticed that about half the time they would attack Poccopoc instead of me. And I was like, oh no, leave him alone. But he was fighting back. So like, that's why I did know that he could fight. But he, like, because they were so close to him, he was just meleeing with them. But they were actively attacking him and not me.
He's so spicy. And also, if you click on him to like look at him, your character's head moves to his. And then he, obviously, his head can't turn because his head is his body. He moves his whole body and is like, huh? What? You looking at me, boss? What's up, bud? And like, it's just, I love him so fucking much. What about you, Immune? What's your top 2 medium moot, bottom boot?
Okay, I don't know if this needs to be a medium moot or a bottom boot. I am just going to throw it in as a bottom boot right now, though.
Oh, no.
And it's like what we talked about earlier with this semi-daily, bi-weekly, however many weekly thing. I feel like either we didn't know how long it was going to be open, or they never said that the first one was going to be open for a smaller amount of days than usual. Either way, I felt like we needed and deserved until at least Friday, because I feel like with the results and past things, that's what it was. I just felt like it was a little too quick, and I guess I just didn't have enough time or didn't put enough effort in, so I didn't get it done, so I'm a little bit behind now. So, like, whether it's a bottom boot on me or for like, not understanding this or knowing this, or them for some reason plopping us in on, like, day 1.5 or 2 out of 3 instead of, like, 1, which is weird if that's the case. Either way, I felt it was weird because I feel like there's nothing like this. Because, like, at this rate, what, are we going to have 3 of these quests a week, or is it just 2 and they started weird? I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's weird because it's every 3 days, but there are 7 days in a week. So there's just a day where Bolvar will be like, I am tired. No new thing today.
Oh, the Lord's day is my day of rest.
Yeah, on Bolvar. It's Bolvar's
Poccopoc's day. Go hang out with Poccopoc. He's gonna do something cool. And then you just go to the cave and he does like a silly little dance, and it's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
I am so excited to identify what Bolvar's day is. I mean, we can try now, right? If it's on Thursday, then in 3 days it'll be Monday, Sunday.
Either end of Sunday or Monday, I think. Yeah.
So one of those is Bolvar's day.
So either he is an inherent Christian and he does nothing on Sundays, or he is a follower of the orange lasagna cat Garfield, and he's like, I hate Mondays, and he just sleeps in his little box.
Classic Bullfield.
Bullfield.
He just sets up. Let's see, who would be Bolvar's Odie?
Probably Sylvanas.
He just kicks Sylvanas right in her pants, and she falls off the table. And he's like, I love doing that every week.
Love it.
All of these jokes, including all the good ones and all of the many, many bad ones, were brought to you by these patrons. We're talking about friend of the pod, Tajurla, fourth host of the podcast, Jamonkey, Ahoy Vince, a.k.a. Nathanos, killed himself to see Sylvanas and she won't even pick up the phone. Vanderlyle, who says hashtag free trade chat.
Whoa,
Ooh.
free him.
Couple years later, we're coming back. InSync / Drag Race, Crucifix, Saracen Hawk, Adorno. He didn't give me a thing to say after my birthday, but I'm not going to be a dramatic bitch. So, Adorno, Gershom, check out Thrall's Balls, and Will, a.k.a. Tyre, Trade Chat's fallen father.
If you want to join this illustrious crew, go to patreon.com/do-not-relent. We're going to be recording a bonus episode with a random topic that we're going to spin the wheel of submitted topics, and so we have no idea what's happening. We're going to get more drunk. We're going to get more saucy, and since we know it's a private thing, we can get a little spicy.
I was going to say a little too saucy.
Yeah, kind of. Let me tell you. Yeah, let's talk about my closeted life. I'll do it again. You can follow that at patreon.com/do-not-relent. Follow us on Twitter at do-not-relent-pod. Send us an email at do-not-relent-pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at
Do Not Relent. You can follow me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at New Era Alex, or on Twitch at Immunization DNR.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at TheBigAcheesy on Twitter.com and on Twitch at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. I got something real good in the pipes. Stay tuned for that.
Check out his pipes. And with that, we're out of here. See you in Zereth Mortis, baby.
Zereth Mortis.
And remember,
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.